Welcome back to this channel. We are going to collect our ordinary level physics national examination 2019. Yes, last time I created a video of collection of the section A questions, but we focused on question number 2. So today we are going to look about number 3. How can we collect that question? Let us go. Yes, question number 3A, to say that select delivered physical quantity among the following: time, mass, acceleration, and length for 1 marks. That's A. Number B is a piece of rock with the volume which is 15 centimeter cube has a mass of 45 gram. The first question is express its volume in meter cube. Number B is what is the mass into kilogram. So let us begin on A. We are going to see among time, mass, acceleration, and length, which one is delivered physical quantity. But before we go through it, you have to know what is delivered quantity. Actually, there's two types of quantity. The one is delivered quantity, another one is fundamental quantity. So we are going to see what is the difference between delivered quantity and quantity. Yes, so that's why we are going. Yes, let us continue. As you see here, there is fundamental or base quantity and delivered quantities of measurement. So what is difference between fundamental or base quantity and delivered quantity? The first one, as you see, they say that fundamental quantities are those quantities that are not defined in terms of other quantities. It means that those quantities, you cannot express it in other terms of other quantities. Yes, while delivered quantities are those quantities which are defined in terms of the other quantities. So this delivered quantity, you can express it by using other quantities. Sometimes those other quantities are the fundamental quantities. Yes, this delivered quantity, you can express delivered quantity by using other delivered quantities, or you can express delivered quantity by using fundamental quantities. Let us go through it and see different examples so that you can understand it very well. As we have said, that fundamental quantities are those quantities that are not defined in terms of other quantities. There are 7. There are actual 7 fundamental or base quantities. Those are length. Length is the first one. The second one is mass. The third one is time. The fourth one is temperature. The fifth one is electrical current. The sixth is amount of substance, and seventh is luminous intensity. Those 7 quantities are what we call fundamental quantity or base quantity. So you have to memorize them. Yes, you have to memorize them. You have to memorize those 7 fundamental quantities, so that at any time they give you different quantities, to differentiate the delivered quantity and fundamental quantities, you have to remember those 7 fundamental quantities so that you can remove them, and what is remaining will be delivered quantities. But that cannot let us not to see the different examples of delivered quantities. Why are they called delivered quantities? As I've said, delivered quantities are those quantities that are expressed in terms of other quantities. Maybe a delivered can be expressed in a delivered, or a delivered can be expressed in fundamental. Yes, this is an example. For example, take area. If you take area, you see that area, you can express it by taking length times by length. Yes, length times by length. As you see, we know that length is a fundamental or base quantity. Is the first one. So that's why, as earlier you were expressing area by using length, you understand that this area will be a delivered quantity. The next one is volume. As you see, volume is equal to length times by length. You see also that volume also is expressed by the fundamental quantities. So this volume also will be taken as delivered quantities. Let us go for the next, which is density. Density, as the formula of density is mass divided by volume. As you see, mass is the second. Yes, mass is the second in the fundamental quantity, as you see, but the volume is not belong into the fundamental quantities. But when try to analyze careful, volume also can be expressed in other terms. Yes, can be used. We can use other quantities to express volume. As we have seen, the above, the volume can be equal to length times by length times by length. You understand that also volume is the delivered quantity. You see that density as delivered quantity can be expressed by using a fundamental and a delivered quantity. Yes, that's what I've said. I've said that a delivered quantity is a quantity that can be expressed in terms of other quantities. Those quantities maybe can be fundamentals only. You can take fundamental quantities and use them to express one delivered quantity. Or you can use a delivered quantities to express a delivered quantity. Yes, or you can mix them. You can take a fundamental with delivered quantity and use them to express one delivered quantity also. So that's what we have seen here. You see that density is equal to mass divided by volume. You see that density is expressed in terms of mass as fundamental quantity and volume as delivered quantity. Yes, let us, so by seeing and by getting full explanation what is fundamental, what is delivered quantity, it's easy to answer our question. Yes, let us go and answer our question. Yes, as you see, select a delivered quantity among the following. There is time. As you know, time is a fundamental quantity, not delivered quantity. Yes, time is among those 7 fundamentals. Mass, we have seen that mass is the second in fundamental quantity. Acceleration, acceleration, does it belong to fundamental quantity? As we have seen, you see that among 7 fundamental quantities there is no acceleration. Yes, so it means that we have to pay attention for acceleration. The next one is length. Actually, we know that length is a fundamental quantity. You see that among those 4 quantities, the one and only one which is a delivered quantity is acceleration. Yes, it's understandable because also acceleration, without thinking more, we know that acceleration can be expressed by using other quantities. We know that acceleration can be equal to the change in speed or the change in velocity divided by time. You understand that acceleration is expressed by using velocity and time. You understand that this acceleration is a delivered quantity. Now B, we have given volume, which is 15 centimeter cube, and mass, which is 45 grams. So we have to express this volume into meter cube and mass into kilogram. It's very simple and very easy. Yes. So the volume, as you know that So from centimeter cube to meter cube, you see that here we multiply by 10 power minus 6. Yes, and also mass, as well in a gram to convert it to kilogram, we multiply by 10 power minus 3. We know that this kilo means 10 power 3. Yes, and if we are moving from the small unit to the big one, you understand that we'll do inverse. That's why 10 power 3 will be 10 power minus 3. So our solution here it will be, by using scientific notation, you see that it will be 0.045, while for the volume it will be 15 times 10 power minus 6 meter cube. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for today. So I think next time we are going to continue with question number 4. As you see, this question number 3 was very simple. What we have supposed to know for the question A is to differ the derivative physical quantity from the fundamental quantity, and number B is to know how can we express the centimeter cubes into meter cube and gram into kilogram. Thank you very much. See you next. If you like this video, please subscribe and share to your friends. But I want to remind you that if you have subscribed, please don't do it again, because if you subscribe again you will be unsubscribed. So you have to subscribe once. Yeah, thank you very much. So please share to your friend this video if you like them.